Magic Candle Company has sponsored this episode of Offhand Disney? And whoa, you're telling me I can use the code OFFHAND15 for 15% off my entire purchase? You're also telling me I can stay tuned till the end of the video to find out more? You're also trying to say that the video's starting any time now? Oh wait, it already started? We're on the intro now? Oh jeez, I'm not even organized. This is a place of many legends and myths, a place both of immense happiness and of great battles. A very sacred place that goes down in legend as one of the most important areas in all of California. This is opening day of Disney California Adventure Park, the park right across the street from Disneyland, and more specifically though, the area known as Grizzly Airfield, formerly Condor Flats, and also around it, Grizzly Peak. Today we're going to talk about the real life history behind this area at Disney California Adventure, what it meant on opening day, what it means now, but more importantly, we are going to be digging deep into the lore of Grizzly Peak. How did this weird bear-shaped mountain come to be, and why is it in the middle of a theme park across the street from Walt Disney's original Magic Kingdom? Has it always been there? I'm pretty sure I remember a parking lot being there. No, I'm just messing with you guys. I was too young to form memories. But without any further ado, anyone, gather around the campfire here as I tell you the story and the legend of Grizzly Peak. Westcott? No. Never heard of it. You know what we do need though? A California-themed park in California. That'll get them. After the building of Disneyland's second park, Westcott, fell through, caused in part by the failure of Euro Disneyland and in the other part by Disney's failure at public relations with the city of Anaheim, Michael Eisner, the at the time CEO of Disney, gathered company executives in a retreat in Aspen, Colorado, which is closer to me than it is to Grizzly Peak. From those meetings in Aspen, Disney decided that the theme of the second park should be around the culture and heritage of California. There was a fatal flaw here though. The majority of people who visit Walt Disney World are tourists from around the world and around the rest of the United States. Getting immersed in other cultures is something fun, something people look forward to, like staying at Old Key West, or the World Showcase with its presentation of different cultures from all over the world. Disneyland, though, is a different story. Most of the visitors to Disneyland are local to California, so they already know all about the California culture because they live there? Visiting a simulated version of the state they've lived in most of their lives probably wasn't very interesting for the wide demographic of people who visit California Adventure. Kind of get what I'm saying here? What's my point? My point is most of the people who go to Disneyland already know what California is about. They didn't need a simulated version. And so California Adventure was received pretty negatively when it opened. It seemed really cheap compared to the original Disneyland right across the street. One of the opening day attractions here paying homage to the culture of California was Grizzly River Run, the centerpiece of which was the 110-foot tall mountain in the shape of the California state animal, Grizzly Peak, the California state animal being a bear. Also. In 2001, Grizzly River Run was themed around extreme sports, like whitewater rafting down the epically sick rivers of California, dude. And there wasn't much of a backstory for the mountain other than it's a sweet, epic looking, super tubular looking bear, bro. I mean, you think I'm exaggerating? Listen to the safety spiel here real quick.
Hi, you rafters. For a safe ride, be sure to stay seated with that seatbelt fastened. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the raft, and be sure to watch your kids. Okay, guys, it's time to do some serious rafting.
It wasn't until 2012, 11 years after the park opened, that Disney decided to move in a different direction with California Adventure. Instead of a kitschy postcard version of California when you first walk in, Buena Vista Street would stand in its place. This time, instead of representing a cheap postcard you'd pick up at the gift shop and send to your family back home if you even used postcards, Buena Vista Street would represent the Hollywood Walt Disney first experienced when stepping off the train from Kansas City in 1923, making the park right off the bat way more immersive than it was when it opened in 2001. Disney continued to refine the story and theming of California Adventure over the years until they finally arrived at Condor Flats. This land hosted Soarin' Over California and was themed around a dry Californian airstrip, which didn't lead very well into the lush redwood Yosemite-esque area around Grizzly River Run. Disney eventually turned all of Condor Flats into Grizzly Peak Airfield to better tie in with Grizzly you know, the mountain that the ride is in. Now, not only the area around Grizzly River Run, but also around Soarin' Over California and the Grand Californian Hotel were themed around a Californian state park. And let me tell you, in all honesty, this is probably one of my favorite areas throughout the entire Disneyland resort. It's just so peaceful, and the trees and the water flowing, it really kind of does feel like you're in a national park almost. The theming had finally improved, and when it came to River Run, changed even. Now, instead of totally extreme whitewater rafting, bro, River Run was now more of a laid-back national park raft tour, and the safety spiel provided by Bumper McFerrin, the totally tubular guy from earlier, was replaced by that of Jay Woodlore, a character from Disney's classic cartoons, famously known for getting into a couple scuffles with Humphrey the Bear in his day. The tone of this new Grizzly Peak land is very, very relaxed, and I think that's what I love about it. But before I start talking about Woodlore and McFerrin and the Grizzly Mining Company, we're going to need to go a little further back. We need to learn the story, nay, the legend of Grizzly Peak. Long ago, Ahai the coyote met Usumate, the grizzly bear, on top of the mountain. Seeing the grizzly was a powerful being, Coyote asked him to watch over and protect the land. Then one day, people came and tried to chase Usumate from the mountain, but Grizzly was strong and held his ground. When Coyote saw the brave bear standing alone against so many, he turned Usumate into stone so he could never be driven away. To this day, people claim they can hear the great bear spirit in the wind that roars through the caverns and trees of Grizzly Peak. And so goes the legend of the mountain, which can be found in the queue line to keep you entertained while you're waiting. But the story doesn't end there with poor Usumate turned to stone. No, his story becomes way more tragic. Skipping ahead to the mid-1800s now, the bear has been frozen into the form of a mountain for thousands of years, and a German immigrant named Jacob Probst discovers gold at Grizzly Peak, although he discovered it completely by accident after throwing his hat into the river and stomping on it. He picked it up, put it back on his head, and discovered a 1-pound gold nugget had fallen inside. Now let's assume it's 24 karat gold. That would be worth $27,721 and the extra 60 cents in today's money. So, with that money he earned from being angry at his hat, Jacob staked a claim which he would later sell to the Eureka Gold and Timber Company for millions of dollars. And so the Eureka Gold and Timber Company took over the land of what is now Grizzly Peak. The company was very successful at Grizzly Peak and even constructed a general store right next to the mining operation. That's the gift shop at the end of Grizzly River Run. But eventually, as the 1950s rolled around, Disneyland opened and the mine was tapped and emptied, and Eureka Gold and Timber closed down for good. Only the general store which had been constructed remained in use, and it was converted into an outdoor supply store, sort of like your Dick's Sporting Goods or Patagonia or REI, something similar to those things just back in the 1950s. The land itself around the mountain was sold back to the United States government to create the Grizzly Peak Recreation Area, which is what the land is known as today. After so many years, the rivers cleared back up and the trees began growing back from the mining operation that had destroyed so much of it early on. And with beautiful nature comes outdoor enthusiasts, and people discovered the awesome whitewater rivers of Grizzly Peak. And this is where something very strange happens. Because Disney rebooted the whole area in around 2012, the timeline splits into two separate universes. One timeline with the pre-2012 extreme sports theme that Grizzly River Run had, and then one with the post-2012 national park theme. In timeline number 1, or the ride as we experience it today, the national park began offering raft tours to discover the scenic beauty of the Grizzly Peak area. The rafts were outfitted with your basic camping gear, and people were sent out into the wilds of Grizzly Peak to discover the beautiful natural sights of California. Meanwhile, over in timeline number 2, or the original Grizzly Peak storyline, around the 1980s, as the word for how amazing Grizzly Peak's Class 5 rapids were, different businesses started popping up offering rafting tours. One of the companies was operated and founded by a man named Bumper McFerrin, who, you know, is the total dude bro from the original, man. He purchased the old mining structures to use as their base of operations, and the Grizzly River Rafting Company was born. What is canon to both Timeline 1 and Timeline 2 is that that when guests ride their rafts through the caverns of Grizzly Peak, they swear that they can still hear the roars of Usumate echoing through the caverns, and that perhaps somewhere deep inside Grizzly Peak, the spirit of the bear lives on, guarding the mountain to this very day. Or maybe it's just a legend and it's just wind echoing through the caves. I mean, what do you think? Also, what is your favorite and preferred timeline for the Grizzly River Run area? Do you like timeline number 1, where it's more national park, more relaxing, hosted by Mr. Woodlore giving you scenic views of the national park, or do you prefer timeline 2, where Bumper McFerrin totally shows you the sights and sounds of California, dude? Let me know what you consider to be the most convincing timeline in the comments down below. Maybe you can find a way they fit together. And that, everybody, is the story of Grizzly Peak and its surrounding attraction, Grizzly River Run. I, for one, kind of picked up on the story over the years as I went to Disneyland, but I didn't know it went quite so deep and quite so ancient. And it's really cool, I think, that Disney integrated this backstory into a land that not a lot of people would think about. So whether it's Woodlore and Humphrey, Bumper McFerrin, or Usumate, the guardian of the mountain, however many times Grizzly Peak has changed hands and ownerships throughout the year, I think we can all agree that it still belongs to one person and one person only. And that is Bob Iger and the shareholders. I mean, come on, if we're trying to get technical here, I'm not wrong. Do you like candles? No? Seriously? Well, how about these magic candles, huh? Now I have your attention. If all my talking about Condor Flats has you missing soaring over California, don't worry. You can still smell the oranges from the ride today using the Orange Groves candle from the Magic Candle Company. Or maybe you're looking for something to get ready for pumpkin spice season coming up and you want to smell autumn on Main Street. Well, that's what this autumn on Main Street candle's for. It's got the same name and everything. Visit magiccandlecompany.com and use offer code OFFHAND15, like I said at the beginning of the video, for 15% off your entire purchase. So you spend more, you save more. And a very massive thank you to Magic Candle Company for sponsoring this video. Remember, offhand 15 and you save 15. It's pretty neat. And now we get to the end card. Hello everyone, and welcome to the end card segment of the video. Congratulations, you made it. I'm very proud of you. I love people who reach the end card, and if you do reach the end card after watching the whole video, let me just say thank you for watching the entire thing. You are awesome. Yeah, you. I'm not talking to anybody else. You. Did you guys enjoy the story of Grizzly Peak? Did you know it already? Did I get any details wrong? Because sometimes that happens. Let me know in the comments below. If you're interested in getting early episode access, head over to the Patreon link in the description. Also, for even just $1, you get access to early episode audio, sometimes early episodes, or cut down edited versions that I am currently working on that are in the process of being edited. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I talk about all sorts of things like people movers. I talk about those sometimes. I retweet cool Disney news, and sometimes I'll even post a picture of my dog, if that is interesting to you. It's not required, but it's a nice little extra piece. Let me thank my good friend LMG Vids also for providing some of the footage for this episode. He's really, really wonderful. Has some awesome high quality ride-throughs of Disney park rides from all over the world. Go check him out. And thank you again, I must say, for getting to the end of the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Probably not about Grizzly Peak. Goodbye.